I'm doing my little T-Bob snaps. T-Bob will be joining us soon. Aaron here. We're doing the snaps after dark. Damn, it's been a good day of college football. It has been an exciting day. I had the Mississippi State game earlier at noon. It was a complete blowout. So I got to watch a lot of essentially college football throughout the day. It's been a lot of fun. It has been one heck of upsets over and over for those that just got off the Oklahoma game. Hell of an upset there. Make sure you leave your comments. We got a special guest, former Oklahoma Sooner, going to be joining us here. T-Bob is on his way. I think he's finishing up at the bars right now. So, my man has to be nice and lubed up to jump on the show with us tonight. So, college football.
Lubed up. That's an interesting choice of words here at 11:30 Eastern.
Nice and lubed up. He got the spirits running through him a little bit. LSU with their third straight win. So he's feeling good. There was a little rocky start, as we all know, versus Florida State week 1. Since then, I think I saw from Brian Kelly's comments after the game, they're building good habits. They're feeling good. They're winning ball games. They're about to start SEC play. So good for them. Good for him. We know T-Bob likes to celebrate those victories, even against lesser opponents. So we will be getting a lot of good entertainment here shortly. Brum, what should we jump into Oklahoma? I don't know if we want to wait for our special guest to come here soon or not.
I think you should do Oklahoma. What was your first reaction? They just lose. What was your biggest takeaway as start?
Yeah, to me, the crazy thing when I was watching this Oklahoma game is, one, we thought with Venables there, the defense would be much improved. And seeing that tonight, we saw it throughout the first part of the season. And tonight kind of got them a little bit. We know Kansas State's one of those teams that just seems to have Oklahoma's number. I think they have more wins against Oklahoma than any other team in that conference over the past, 10 to 15 years. And just a little bit surprising to me how much more physical Kansas State was. And that little running back, Deuce Vaughn, who's like 5'5", that looks like what was his name? Sproles. I believe Sproles played at Kansas State. He was phenomenal. And then Adrian Martinez, who played football more than I played. I think he's like in his 6th year of eligibility right now. The former Nebraska quarterback. He looked pretty damn good tonight. So I think, to me, that was my biggest concern. It's like you got this defensive coordinator that's come over from Clemson. He's bringing this defensive mindset, and we didn't see it. And that was a little bit concerning to me because you knew their offense was going to be fine. Like it wasn't. Dylan missed some throws throughout the game. He had a couple guys wide open. He had, Stoops, on a little slant and go from the inside. Could have been a big touchdown and a punting on that possession. But overall, Dylan Gabriel goes 26 of 39, 330, 4 touchdowns. They put another 220 yards on the ground. It's like the offense did their thing. But Venables was brought to Oklahoma as the head coach to bring the toughness, to bring that mentality, to get that side of the football better.
To not give up 41 points to Kansas State.
It's an elite offense. So a little bit shocked there, but we have to remind ourselves too, it's year one. You can't just build a great defense in year one. You still have to recruit to the personnel. You got to bring guys in that fit what he wants to do on that side of the football. And it's going to take some time. We're still early in the season for them. So I still think Oklahoma is the best team in that conference. I still think they come out on top. At the end of the day, this is just a little bit of a glitch, and they'll bounce back. Like I said, they got too much talent on both sides of the football, especially on the offense, to not have success this year. So they'll be fine. Plus, Texas lost. USC is not looking too good right now. So Oklahoma fans aren't too down in the dumps right now. So I'm pulling up the chat, just seeing what we got in here. Adrian Reese said, Adrian Martinez looked like Vince Young out there. He really did, though. I was shocked. You're talking about a guy that struggled at Nebraska. Maybe just any quarterback or anyone that goes to Nebraska is going to struggle right now, and you just need a fresh start. And that's all it takes sometimes. Get a fresh start. But he looked good. He looked good running it. He looked good throwing it. The biggest thing I saw from Adrian was just being creative in the pocket. I thought that was really impressive. He had a couple throws where he was either rolling to his right or rolling to his left, able to buy some time with the guy in his face, throw a couple of those nice lob passes up and over defenders with a little bit of touch, which is not easy to do. Like when you're rolling to the left and there's someone in your face, and you got to be able to turn your shoulders real quick and get a little lollipop throw over to the defender. That is some tough stuff. So, man, I'll give him lots of love, man. He did a hell of a job in this football game. But once again, I'm not too concerned overall. Oklahoma, they will be fine. Venables will get that defense right, and they'll get back to kicking ass in the Big 12 before obviously moving over to the SEC. So that's my initial thoughts. We'll get T-Bob's thoughts when he gets in here. Brum, anything else on that? Are we
I think we might have Roy here.
Ooh, let's go with Roy.
What's cracking?
So, ladies and gentlemen, for those that were following Roy on Twitter tonight, you would see he was all over this game, giving great commentary. Roy Williams, legendary former All-American safety at Oklahoma, played in the NFL, one of the greats to ever do it there, wear the red. Man, what happened to the defense, Roy? I'll let a guy that actually knows defense kind of break down what happened tonight for your Sooners.
Honestly, bad angles. They weren't swarming to the ball, gang tackling like they did the first couple of weeks. Just missed tackles. I mean, they honestly got punked tonight. This plain out simple, they got punked tonight. And you know, I was responding to a bunch of people on Twitter because you know, they're like, oh, they suck, they're this, they're that, these kids are horrible. And I'm just like, come on, man. Like, this is coach's first year. You know, it's not like he's been there 3 or 4 seasons. You know, he hasn't. I mean, there's going to be some growing pains. We got to deal with it. You know, but at the end of the day, those young guys on the defense and offense too, and special teams, we gave up a big kickoff return. But I mean, they just got to look themselves in the mirror and just say, hey, can I be better? You know, and if you say yes, then go out there and do it. If you say no, then you shouldn't be on the field. It's just that simple.
How much of it had to deal with, you think, just a running quarterback? Because I thought Adrian looked good. You know, not only running the zone read, but I thought just, you know, his ability to get in and outside the pocket, throw on the run, really break down the defense. Did you see a lot from him, or was it once again more just the defense screwing up in those situations?
I'll say it's both. I think Martinez made some great runs, but at the same time, you know, I've seen the comment people you should have had a spy on him. Well, there are some guys that, like the last run. I mean, I think it was the back, not the back, maybe the nose guard held up, but he guessed, you know, and he should have just you know, locked up with him and just, you know, two-way goat him, but he didn't. He went to the right, and quarterback, you know, went to the quarterback's. He went right, and the quarterback went to his left, and I mean, it sprung him, and I mean, that's just what happens. I mean, it's football, but yes, most definitely they could have played so much better than they did tonight, for sure.
No, I agree, and once again, Roy Williams, former Oklahoma All-American, joining us on the chat, breaking down this Oklahoma first loss of the season to Kansas State. What is it about Kansas State? I think I saw something during the broadcast that I think 4 losses to Kansas State, more losses to them than anyone else in the past 20 years or something like that. Like, what is it? Is it something about playing at that field? Is it just they got their number? What is it?
I mean, historically, I mean, back when I played, I mean, Kansas State always played us tough, and that's just, I mean, Kansas State's I mean, they're blue collar workers, man. They fight, they claw. They don't. I mean, they're even though there's a new coach there, they still have that Bill Snyder way, you know, and they're going to fight until, you know, there's no more time left on the clock, and I mean, and that's what they did tonight. I mean, it's no different. I mean, K-State plays tough. I mean, they're a hard team, even though sometimes their record doesn't show it. They play hard, and you know, they made some good plays with the help of our defense, and hell, we had a ton of penalties that just keeps backing us up, you know, and you know, it made it hard on our offense to move the ball. But I mean, I honestly feel the way we were playing in the fourth quarter, the way our offense was moving the ball, you know, throwing it, mix it in some runs. But I mean, we just need to let it air out. And when we did, I mean, we were moving the ball, but I mean, it's like it stopped. Or we need to have that urgency, all 4 quarters, not just in the fourth.
Yeah. Waves on Swim in the chat. Is that Roy? Yes, that is Roy Williams joining us right now. The running back for Kansas State was Deuce Vaughn, 5'6", on a good day, 176 pounds.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I love when they kept showing the back angle of him next to the quarterback and just the drastic difference in height's incredible. Yeah, he's a tiny guy, but damn, does he pack a punch. How tough it is? How tough is it for any defender, secondary level, linebacker, safeties, to locate a dude that's 5'5" and then obviously make a play on him?
It is tough because you can't see him once he gets the ball behind the offensive line, and then he pops out of a hole, But at the same time, it's, I honestly, I felt like we got punked tonight, and I feel that, they could have easily put hats on Vaughn. I even said, I think on Twitter, like, you need to secure the tackle first before you try to strip it, and we weren't doing that. I know they're trying to create turnovers, which is a great thing, but I mean, the main thing is the main thing. You got to bring the man down to the ground, and we really didn't do that well tonight.
No, you didn't. Flip it over, offensive side of the football. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's hard to argue if you just look at the numbers for Dylan, 26 of 39, 334 touchdowns, but he did miss a few down the field. One I alluded to earlier to our boy Stoops, had one of those little sluggos, inside slants and go, and just completely overthrew him. Was a little bit off at times. I wouldn't say like a terrible game, but your thoughts on just the offensive performance?
I like Dylan. I mean, he missed some shots today, and I mean, I know he wish he can have those back, but I mean, we can't. That's why, I mean, it's tough, being the QB1, and you have to make those plays. I mean, because they come back and bite you in the butt like they did tonight.
Yeah, they did. So I think big question everyone wants to know, and you hit it a little bit earlier, but obviously Venables was brought in for defense. I mean, Oklahoma's going to have offense. We know they're going to have offense. They just got they got those type of players on that side of the football. I believe they have those guys on defense. You obviously know those players well. I've got them a little bit as well through our NIL deal, but they got playmakers over there. Like, what is the missing piece right now? Does he still need to be able to go on the offseason and recruit guys to fit his scheme a little bit more? Does he got to get the transfer portal? Like, you can't be giving up 41 points to Kansas State when you're a defensive guy, in my mind.
No, for sure. I mean, teams are going to score. It is it's a different day and age with lighting up the scoreboard. I mean, yes, we would love to have a pitcher shutout all the time. But that's very hard to do in this day and age. As far as players, they have the players there. They just didn't execute. They truly did not execute today. They were not swarming like they were. It doesn't matter who you're playing. The effort just was not there today. They had bad angles on a bunch of those quarterback runs from Martinez and with Vaughn, Deuce. But I mean, Venables has the pieces, and they're there, and they just need to play. Let's go. What are we in today was the fourth game under Venables' system. I mean, everything is not going to be just perfect. I mean, there's going to be some growing pains. I mean, that's just what it is. Yes, as a fan, you got Venables there, the new excitement, all the hype, whatever, they want to fluff it to be. I mean, there is going to be some growing pains. I mean, it is. I mean, that's just what it is. I mean, it's the fourth game. Yes, we would love to go undefeated going into the Red River shootout. But you know what? That's just not what it is this time. It's okay, but I feel we have the right pieces. Of course, it's just like in '99 when Coach Bob Stoops first got there. I mean, he inherited a bunch of players he did not know. And you know, everybody, I mean, I don't know if they're feeling the same way they're feeling now, but there were growing pains. There were really growing pains. And after that first year, I think we won 7. I think we went, I don't know what we went, 7-6. I don't know. But I mean, we lost a lot of close games. We gave up some points. And then that next year we went 13-0. I'm not saying that's going to happen for this team, but like, give him a little grace. I mean, this is his first season, his 4th game. Things are going to happen. Damn right, Coach Venables is pissed right now because the work product that showed up today on the football field is not his style of football. And he's going to correct it, and we're going to grow from it. Hopefully, I hope these kids rebound from, tonight's game.
B Bean in the chat says, I feel you, Roy. Napier at Florida is going through some growing pains too. So at first year coach, it ain't easy in any of these conferences. So there's going to be some struggles. I think the big thing we're going to hear, obviously we all hear it on Sunday and Monday, is these teams on the chopping blocks, whether it is Oklahoma, whether it is USC who's playing right now, or Arkansas who's in the top 10. Like, everyone automatically jumps to the conclusion that, hey, they're not good. They don't deserve to be in the top 10 or the top 15, or the top 20, or whatever it is. And you kind of just, once again, we react a little bit too fast. I still, to me, what I've seen from these teams the first 3 weeks is still a very good team. And I would still say a team, in my mind, that's the best team in the Big 12. I think they do take care of business in the Red River. Is it rivalry or shootout? Did we say shootout because it's easier to say? I don't know.
I think they changed it. I think they changed it from shoot. It used to be the shootout when we played, but I think, honestly, I think with the massive school shootings and stuff, I think they took it out because of that. So it's the Red River rivalry. So
Red River rivalry. Now, so I still think they are the better team. So, like, where would you put them when you look at the college football landscape? In Ohio State, big win tonight. Georgia was a little bit iffy. We'll break that down later today or on Monday. Yeah. And then Alabama just throttled Vanderbilt, which was expected. But, they're really, it just seems like everyone after that, Clemson, close call versus Wake Forest, it seems like everyone after those 3 are kind of in a bucket that I think anyone is vulnerable to lose on any given weekend, as we saw today and what we saw last week as well. So is Oklahoma, in your mind, still a team that is going to threaten to get to the playoffs based on what you've seen to the first 4 games of the season?
I think there's still time. I think it's too early to try to determine that. I'm just being realistic about it. They have to prove it. I know Coach Venables' way isn't, he wants to earn it. He just doesn't want that to just be given to him. As far as, they're going to be in the college. No, you can't be in the college football the football playoff, because you need to win games and you need to, prove that you need to be there. So right now, I think Coach Venables he doesn't like to be the front runner. He doesn't want to be up there. He wants to be able to prove himself and his team that they deserve to be there. So as of right now, let everybody else have the talk with the Georgias, the Alabamas, and whomever else they're predicting. But no, especially after tonight, no, hell no, we don't deserve to be there right now, because we don't. If you put like this, I know Coach Venables' thought process. I don't know, but I'll say this: if you want to be playing in the, for the championship or get into the playoff, you need to prove it every day, every week you step on that football field. And they didn't show that today. So right now, no.
You know what's interesting in that league, and I talk about Oklahoma being like still that premier team in the Big 12, but obviously Kansas is kicking butt. I'd love to get your thoughts on Kansas. Yes. Baylor's Baylor. Kansas State 3-1, Texas Tech with obviously the big win versus Texas. Oklahoma State's undefeated. You guys play TCU next weekend. They're undefeated. Iowa State's 3-1. It's a tough conference right now. There's a lot of good teams. So first thing, in the conference is Kansas. I think that obviously a lot of people
Mhm.
are very fascinated by the story right now with
Yeah.
Leipold and what's going on. They had a big win versus Duke. Are you a little bit shocked with the Jayhawks? Are they for real in your mind? Or are they just benefiting from a somewhat lax schedule to start the year off?
Oh no, I think Kansas is for real. They even played us last year tough. But Kansas is for real. I'm like y'all better not sleep on Kansas. Kansas is serious, So I mean, the Big 12 is playing some good football this season so far, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how it all pans out. But I mean, if Oklahoma's wanting to win that Big 12 championship, they're going to have to put their big boy pants on and show up each and every week ready to play. And because there's going to be a lot of teams gunning for them. Like, hell, you even seen it tonight. Even if it's a subpar team playing, I wouldn't say K-State subpar, but I'm just saying teams going to get up to play OU just because, we're the whole back-to-back-to-back Big 12 champions or whatever, which who cares about Big 12 championships? We want to play for the national championship. So, but in order to play for the championship, you have to win your division. So, being that, Oklahoma's a top dog in the Big 12, I mean, they're going to have to show up every Saturday and, prove it. And there's a lot of teams I'm like, I just hope they don't take them lightly because we're going to have a repeat of tonight if that's the case.
Yeah, especially at home. You never want to do that. All right, Roy
No.
Williams joining us. Roy, last one before we let you go get some sleep or maybe a couple drinks after the loss. I don't know, whatever you need to do to
I'll probably have another cigar.
You are a cigar man.
Sure
we said you guys have TCU at TCU this next weekend. Texas is hosting West Virginia, and then it's the Red River rivalry game after that. We all saw what happened with Texas versus Alabama. Great football game. I believe yours is going to be back for the game there between you guys. What's your expectations based on what you've seen from both those teams in 2 weeks of what that game is going to look like?
For OU Texas or OU TCU?
OU Texas.
I mean, it's always a hard fought game. So you never know. Honestly, it's a flip of a coin. I I mean, Texas is. I mean, regardless of with their loss today to Tech, Texas is Texas is a good team. I mean, their defense plays well and their offense. They move the ball very well downfield. So I'm looking. It'll be fun to see how that game pans out. I'll be there, and so I'm stumped because you never know. You walk through the state fair and then you get to the game and you're just like, I hope they bring it because it's a long walk back to the car if you lose. So I'm a homer. I'm always roll for my boys, but I would say that's going to be a hard fought game for sure.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a good one. And goal one first. I'm sure what Venables is saying. I'm sure you completely agree with this. Just like, hey, focus on TCU. You're about to go on the road, which I think is a good thing. I think going on the road after a loss like tonight is good because you got to focus extra. It's an undefeated TCU Orange Frogs football team. Get through them, get that momentum back, and then get ready for the big game after that. So, Roy, man, appreciate you jumping on. Go enjoy your cigar, and your OU. The Sooners will be back next week. Don't worry about that.
Oh, I'm not worried about that. I mean, honestly, I'm not going to lose not one drop of sleep. I'm going to sleep damn good tonight, regardless if they win or lose. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just a game. I mean, no need to, take it too serious and let it wreck your day. I mean, control what you can control. You can't control what those guys do on the football field, but you can't control the way you feel. I mean, it's kind of hypocritical to say that, but I mean, it is just a game. But at the end of the day, fans get their feelings hurt, but I mean, life goes on. Guess what? Yep. Tomorrow's Sunday, so you get to go to church, chill, do whatever you need to do. But Monday, it's a new day. Like, It's not that
Well,
serious. Yes,
the issue in
we lost.
Oklahoma, Roy, is there's no like professional football team, right? So like, there's
Yeah,
no like, all right, let's go watch our team tomorrow and kind of forget about it. Like,
yeah.
it's like, damn, we got to think about this till next week's game versus TCU is the problem. So,
Actually, but the thing is, but no, you don't. Like literally, go to sleep, wake up. Do whatever makes you happy.
cheer on the
So I
Cowboys.
mean,
Cheer on the Cowboys. And no quarterback controversy going on.
good old Jerry, always trying to stir things up.
I
That's
mean,
funny.
how you gonna pay Dak Prescott all that money and then you're gonna put Cooper Rush in there to be your starting quarterback the rest of the year? But hey, man, you win, right?
Yeah, I heard Dak took the stitches out his hand and he's trying to get back sooner. I would say, sometimes loyalty to a team can come back and bite you. Because I did the same thing. I broke my forearm, try to come back. Like I broke my forearm, try to come back. I want to say 4 weeks after I broke my arm, and broke it again, and then I got released the next year. Or I got released that season at the end of the season. So it's like, nah, heal up, take care of yourself, because sometimes that loyalty doesn't go both ways. It only goes one way.
I mean, you put Jerry Bear. I mean, is he playing games right now? And I'm sorry, we'll let you go after this, but like,
No, you're fine.
What is his goal? What's his goal right now?
I don't know. I don't know what makes Jerry tick other than controversy and people always talking about the Cowboys. So, I mean, I think he probably did that just to create some buzz, just to, keep Cowboys relevant. And, but that Cooper Rush did a great job last week with, leading that team to a victory. So, looking forward to Monday night against the Giants.
Yeah. Big NFC East battle between the G-Men and the Cowboys. Roy, man, appreciate it once again, and get some sleep tonight.
No problem. Yes, sir. All right, Aaron. Thanks, buddy.
That was Roy Williams, former All-American safety at the University of Oklahoma. And like he said, man, he ain't going to lose too much sleep tonight. He probably have a couple of cigars, relax, a couple of drinks, and on to the next one. That is kind of
what a treat here on Snaps. You never know who might show up.
You never know. I mean, I was following him on Twitter tonight, and he's just going back and forth with Oklahoma fans. You know what the good thing is, though, and this is why I'm excited about the 12-team playoff. Because when I played back in the ancient age of the BCS, and you lost one game, like literally, if you lost week 4, you're done. Like shit, because your season's over. You're like, man, what am I gonna fight for? Because as of right now, there's literally a very slim chance of us being able to play for a national championship. A lot of things would have to go right. You're Oklahoma. You lost the game. It sucks. But guess what? You run the table. You're going to be in the playoffs. You win the Big 12, most likely you're going to be in the playoffs. And then now once we expand it to 12, same thing. Sure, you could probably lose 2 games and still be in the playoffs if as a winner of that conference or once you join the SEC. So this is, to me, what is going to make football better. And I think the competition better for not only beginning of the season, but especially towards the end of the season when teams still have that like slimmer of hope that like, man, there is an opportunity for us to be one of those 12 teams at the end of the year. So I think that's what Venables is saying. Like, dudes, guys, it sucks. There's a lot for us to get better on, especially on the defense side of the football. There's still obviously room for improvement. We're still learning the system. It's going to get better and better each week, hopefully. They had our number tonight. Adrian had a hell of a game. Whatever you want to say, but you finish it with saying everything is still in front of us. There is still a path to make it to the playoffs. And obviously, I alluded to the stats of these teams right now in the Big 12, and it's been a good start to the season for that conference. The teams in that side have been on fire. Kansas, once again, Kansas undefeated. Baylor, 3-1, tremendous team last year. Kansas State, big win tonight. Texas Tech, 3-1, big win versus Texas. Oklahoma State undefeated. TCU's undefeated. Iowa State's 3-1, Oklahoma's 3-1, and then Texas is 2-2. So there are good teams in the Big 12 this year. That's going to help whoever comes out, whether they're undefeated or a one-loss, make obviously a legitimate claim to be one of the Final Four teams at the end of it all. So keep your head up, Oklahoma. I still think you're pretty damn good. I like your quarterback. I like your offense. You guys will be just fine. Big Bean in the chat goes, why is a 12-team playoff not too many games for college kids? Listen, they're young, man. They could probably play more games. You think of the NFL. They're playing all those games during the season. They're playing the preseason game, but really not seeing the starters play a lot in the preseason. And then they're playing, 1, 2, 3, possibly 4 games in the postseason. So they're playing north of 20 games in a year. And those are guys that are 22 to, Tom Brady's 44 years old. And they're able to handle that. So I don't think like the wear and tear on the body, I'm not worried about. My biggest question was, obviously there's obligations for these kids to be in school, and December is final exams, and you're kind of split between having to focus on school and obviously having to focus on football. So to me, it's not so much of, can these kids physically handle an entire season plus the addition of playoffs? No, they'll be fine. They're young. They'll bounce back. They're 18, 22-year-old, human beings jumping in an ice bath. I was more concerned about the logistics of dealing, obviously, with the academic side. And if that is taken care of, these are still student athletes. If that area is fine, they will be able to handle it just fine. I guarantee those kids will be more than psyched to be able to play in playoffs going forward. T-Boob Hebert, 2007 LSU.
Hilarious, obviously.
Champs. What's that?
Hilarious, obviously. T-Boob Hebert. You don't have to explain why that's funny.
T-Boob. Yeah, so that's it for Oklahoma. You're still alive, my Sooners. You're still alive, but you better focus on TCU next week because they're not a bad football team at all. Another big game tonight for those who watched. Dem Aggies, about time they got a QB. And I know people are like, oh, his stats weren't that good. What are you talking about, Aaron? It's what he brings to the offense. Now there obviously is a more of a legitimate threat of throwing the football. And then what do you know? There's a threat of throwing it. Devon Achane goes off for 160 yards, 8.4 yards a carry, 1 touchdown. So now all of a sudden you're seeing the offense open up a little bit more. Max Johnson also 39 yards rushing. You take away the sacks, I think it was closer to 50, 60 yards rushing for him. So not only is he opening up the game plan or the offense with his arm, he's also opening up with just his ability to run the football as well. So I've been really impressed with him through the first 2 weeks. They looked really good tonight, are obviously the best they've looked on offense. You're hoping Anias is okay. Got banged up that ankle a little bit, was in a boot afterwards. So I'm sure we'll hear about him either tomorrow or Sunday about what he's going to be going forward for that offense. But defense is good, man. It's a good defense. And to kind of weather the storm, Arkansas came out hot, got up 14 points. KJ was doing his thing. Rocket Sanders was doing his thing. They're making plays both in run game and pass game. And you kind of thought Arkansas was going to run away with it. And the mindset is, A&M's not a team that can play from behind. They have not proven to us that they can throw the ball down 14 points and make it a football game. And they did that. They found a way to step up on defense. Obviously, that red zone turnover / turn touchdown with one defender taking it from another defender and taking it to the house. And yes, KJ should have been a little bit more careful with the football. Try not to be Superman jumping from 4 yards out, but he's just a hell of an athlete. He thought he could do it. I would say better play, obviously, defensively for Texas A&M, being able to knock it out, get it, take it from his own defender, go score a touchdown, and really, to me, change the momentum of that game. 14-13 heading into halftime, and then kind of just dominated that second half. And, I think Jimbo he needed this. I think he needed another top win against a legitimate opponent to kind of put his stake in the claim that, hey, man, we're a good football team. And we're going to get better on offense. You saw what Evan Stewart is about. I think that connection with Max Johnson and Evan Stewart going forward is going to be extremely dynamic. I think he's a hell of a receiver for only being a freshman. And you saw in the broadcast tonight, they said it like this kid mentally is in it. He apologized to the team. He said, man, I screwed up. I'm going to own it. I'm going to have to be more mature than the freshman that I am. And if he steps up mentally, I think this offense is only going to continue to get better and better. And Max Johnson is only going to continue to get better and better as well. So huge win for A&M. Arkansas, it's a tough loss, man. It's a tough loss. You got Alabama next week. You got them at home. I still think they're good enough to make that a football game. I do. I love KJ Jefferson. I think KJ is an absolute freak. And it was funny. I was putting together a tweet tonight. I was literally tweeting. These were my words. I was in my notes section on my iPhone, and I said, KJ Jefferson, I thought he was a second-round draft pick last year and probably should have left for the NFL. He decides to come back, and based on what I've seen from this year, is possibly working his way into a late first-round draft pick. Copy, paste, was in my Twitter, was literally about to press send, and then he fumbles the ball at the 3-yard line. So that's just the way it happens. I don't know if it's my fault or what that I jinxed him, but I still think at the end of the day, KJ is one of the premier quarterbacks in the country. Rocket Sanders in offensive line. I think the offense will be fine. I'm still concerned about the back end. I think teams like Alabama or anyone that could really throw the football, they're going to struggle against. So, it's a good football team. Not a great football team as we saw tonight, but a good football team that's going to have a good year in the SEC, and we'll see if they can bounce back after this tough loss versus Alabama next week.
Who do you think you learned more about tonight, Texas A&M or Arkansas?
I think I learned more about A&M tonight. Once again, I kind of knew who A&M was. I harped on I harped on the fact that I'm not sold on the defense. I'm not sold on the secondary. I think they are going to be in trouble against the Ole Misses, the Mississippi States, the Alabamas of the world, the teams that can throw the ball vertically and really challenge those guys on the back end. Like, they just won't be able to match up. So I know that there's going to be some losses for that football team down the road. There's still going to be, in my mind, an 8-4 team. Maybe a 9-3 team if they can squeak out a win versus Ole Miss or Mississippi State down the road. But right now, A&M, the big question mark is can they produce on offense? Can they have an offensive explosion? And tonight wasn't an offensive explosion by any means, but to see A-Chain get going, run the football, I thought was tremendous for them. And I thought Max Johnson once again is proving why he should have been the quarterback for day one. Is he an all-SEC quarterback? Is he an all-American quarterback? No, he's not. But is he an improvement from Haynes King? Hell yes. So once again, I wasn't harping on, hey, man, why do you have this kid that's on the bench that is a first-team all-SEC quarterback? No, I was complaining, why do you have a kid on the bench that is obviously the better thrower? You're not changing your offense. You haven't turned into this zone read RPO offense. Why you have a running quarterback if you aren't going to use them like a running quarterback? If you want to run a pro-style system, which obviously Jimbo wants to do, he's not ready to give up the command of that offense, then put a quarterback in who fits the system. And Max is the guy who fits what he wants to do from an offensive standpoint. So that's why I feel better about this football team, because at least you have someone that is steering the ship the way the ship wants to go. Is it going to be perfect? Is this going to be an offense that scores 40 points a game? Probably not. But it's an offense that's going to be able to run the football. Max is going to take care of the football, which is something that Haynes King did not do from the very start, from last year for his first couple games to this year through his first couple games. He was a turnover machine. At least Max takes care of the football. He's not going to put you in a bad situation. They're going to continue, once again, to rely on the run game. They're going to continue to rely on the defense. So I think, to me, watching A&M tonight, this is who they're going to be. And I think they're good enough to win a lot of football games like this year if they take care of the football and take what's given to them. So really, really excited about what I saw from them. Waves on Swim said, Aaron, why aren't you a coach? They work too many hours, man. Work too many hours. Z-Links11 said Max will choke Aaron just like he did at LSU. I don't think he choked at LSU. I really don't. I go back and watch LSU last year. It was a shit show. It was an absolute mess at LSU. Edo, coming off the national championship COVID year, things were in disarray. You lost the majority of your football team to NFL draft. Kayshawn was out. The running back, the offensive line was horrendous. They couldn't run the football. The defense was no good. There was just, to me, when you watched LSU last year, Max had to be the dude every single game. And we were talking about a first-year starting quarterback in the SEC. So, honestly, you look at the stats, I thought he played pretty well. Is there room for improvement? Yes. But once again, he was a freshman. He was a young quarterback. He wasn't a third-year quarterback that's played 20-plus games in the SEC. there was room to grow. I saw a lot of potential from the way he played. Shoot, the way he played in the last game of the season was phenomenal. So you can't say choke job. The entire LSU team last year was somewhat of a choke job. They were a complete hungover from the national championship. Edo lost command of that football team, and it just was kind of a nosedive. And I know everyone wants to blame the quarterback. It's always the quarterback's fault why they're losing games. No skill, no running game, no defense, no coaching staff. So Max Johnson will be fine.
Quick update here from USC. Oregon State
%.
misses a field goal. USA up 10-7, 8:34 remaining in the fourth quarter. We got T-Bob coming soon, Aaron. So
time out. Give me that USC, because we got that 5.5.
USC up 3.
We need it.
8:34 left to go. They're getting the ball.
All right. So
Let's talk Georgia.
I'm 2-1. Just FYI, I'm 2-1 this weekend. I should have been 3-0. If A&M makes an extra point and covers that 2.5, I would have been 3-0. But I'll take another 2-1. I think I've been 2-1 every weekend this year. But yeah, let's jump into a little Georgia football here. Wasn't the day for my dogs. It just wasn't. It wasn't the day for Ladd McConkey either. You worried about this? Once again, I'm not going to make an excuse for Georgia, but it's going to sound like an excuse, and it probably is an excuse at the end of the day. You're going to have bad days. You're going to have days where you show up to the ballpark and the sticky gloves aren't sticky. The ball's not going where it needs to go. You're not making tackles, whatever it is. And today was Georgia's day. We know, noon games in Athens, we always joke about it, but Georgia usually sucks at noon games, just the way it is. And it just was not a good day. Ladd was making mistakes. There was turnovers. There was drop passes. There was missed opportunities. Bad angles in the secondary. And I don't know if it was Chris Smith's fault or I think it was Lassiter at corner. If he should have been a little bit more outside leverage, forcing that essentially screen to come back inside to allow Chris Smith to make a tackle. I don't know. It's one of the two's fault. Someone need to play a little bit better outside leverage and essentially funnel the ball carrier back into the field. But it's so funny. I was seeing all today, Georgia should get moved back. Ohio State should get moved to 1 and this, that, and the other. And at the end of the day, I'll say this. 1, I believe Georgia's still the best team in the country. They've proven it for 3 weeks now, and today was just a little oopsie. They still won the game. Let's remind that a win is still a win. And then they will look back at this and say, hey, Georgia won the football game, and that's all that freaking matters. Those 3 teams, as we've said from the very beginning of the season, are all interchangeable. Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia. Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama. Whatever way you want to put it, doesn't really matter. And I guess it may make a little bit of a difference come the end of the season for ranking of who's going to play that 4 seed and who's going to play the 2nd and 3rd seed. But good thing for Georgia and Alabama, they're going to play each other. So eventually someone's going to figure out who's going to be 1 or 2 and who's going to be 3 or 4, just like we saw last year when both those teams got in it. And Georgia obviously had to play Michigan when Alabama got to play Cincinnati. So that will all get worked out. But right now it's still those 3 teams. Doesn't really matter where they are. I don't anticipate when the new AP poll comes out next week that you're going to see much of a change. I do believe Ohio State was Ohio State 2 in the rankings last week, Brum? I'm pulling up now. Alabama was 2. I think Ohio State's the second best team. I would have Ohio State at 2 just based on what we've seen this year. But Alabama dominated. So they're not going to move Alabama off that number 2 spot after absolutely destroying Vanderbilt at home, I believe around 55-3, something like that. So, yeah, I don't think we'll see much movement. Just not the day Georgia obviously was expecting. But, it's 39-22. I'll take a 39-22 bad day at the ballpark kind of win for Georgia. I will say one thing, though. We talk about Heisman's. We talk about maybe Stetson being that guy. Name one better player in the country than Brock Bowers. Name one. I mean, Will Anderson, yeah, but Will Anderson ain't going to win it. Brock Bowers is the most dynamic player in America. The dude blocks. He puts his hand in the dirt. He can run routes from a tight end, from a receiver, from a slot. You can single him back up on the backside. He's getting jet sweeps. He's running the football. You could put him in the backfield and hand the football, and he's going to make plays. Like, he is, and it's funny because, like, what is the award? What is the Heisman? The Heisman goes to the best player in America, not the guy that has the best stats, the guy that is the best football player in America. And right now, I think if you ask most people, and it's not just my Georgia bias coming out right now, if you ask most people, Brock Bowers is that guy. Brock Bowers is the best player in America. So, at the end of the day, a tight end's not going to win it. I will be realistic. But I also thought, like last year, Will Anderson was the best player in America, but he's not a quarterback. He's not a receiver. He's not a skill player. Chances of him winning the Heisman were pretty slim to none. And the chances of Brock Bowers winning the Heisman are pretty slim to none. But does he deserve to be in consideration? Hell yes, he does. He's the best player in America. He's the most dynamic player in America. So, T-Boob, once again, Hebert says on the chat, UJ Tennessee should be fun on November 5th. Yes, it will. Also in the chat, Sam Hartman for Heisman. If he would have won tonight's game or today's game earlier versus Clemson, my golly, man, that kid is he's a stud. I love the offense. I said it last week. That slow zone read, RPO action was going to neutralize Clemson's defense because you can't rush upfield. It stymies the front seven because you can't commit to the run. You can't commit to the pass. You're kind of stuck in limbo, and he just knows the offense so well. His hands are so great. He's able to ride it, pull it, read that safety. As soon as the safety just settles for a second, he's throwing that go ball right over their head all day. And he did it over and over and over again versus Clemson. So, hell of a game. I agree, man. I think he still might have a shot to be in consideration because he's going to continue to put up crazy stats. It obviously would have helped if he would have won today in that football game. DJU looked good. That was impressive to me. I think he kind of squashed the conversation. We said last week in on the show that this was his week to prove it. It's week 4. This is kind of when Dabo makes his decision. Hey, am I sticking with QB1 or is it time to go to QB2? And based on what we saw from DJU today, it's like, all right, well, I guess we're sticking with you today, my man, because you balled out the entire freaking game. It was good to see him go out there and do his thing, play with some confidence, throwing the ball down the field, using that arm strength. Will Shipley was doing his thing at the running back spot. They look good. And I think Clemson's defense will be just fine. Once again, that's just a really good Wake Forest offense led by one of the best quarterbacks in the country. So I think they will be good to go. So Kirby Visor in the chat, what's up? What's up? Billy Napier gave that game away, not taking field goals and extra points away. Yeah, I mean, you can maybe say that. I do love the aggression. My dumbass, I put a tweet out earlier today. I had to delete. I was probably tweeting and driving a little bit too much, so I'll blame that on that. But I said, he's like a guy at the poker table. I meant to say blackjack table. He was like a guy at the blackjack table that decided when he sat down that I'm going to hit 16 every time. Like, because you get in the blackjack, like, am I going to hit it? Am I not going to hit it? And there's always like, hey, if you're going to do it, then you're going to do it. If you're not going to do it, then you don't do it the entire time you sit down. He decided today that I'm going to be ultra aggressive. I'm going to go for it on every fourth down. Similar to those who watched the Texas Tech game, I think they went for it on fourth down like 8 or 9 times. Had a big conversion there in the fourth quarter to get a field goal. Texas ended up tying it, but they obviously still won in overtime. But he made the decision as well for Texas Tech that, hey, we are going to be ultra aggressive. We're the underdogs. We're going against a good offense, and I'm talking about Napier going against Tennessee. Field goals aren't going to win it. We got to score touchdowns. So I do not hate the fact of him on the road, extremely hostile environment, making the decision that we're going to be aggressive. We're going to go for it. And honestly, it worked out more than it didn't for them. So let's remind that, like, they more times than not, they were converting on those fourth downs. So I give him props, man. It's not easy to do, but he trusted in his quarterback. He trusted in his team. And at the end of the day, they made it a hell of a game. If Anthony Richardson doesn't fumble that football, who knows what happened? I still think Tennessee's the better team. I think that's something that we need to realize too. Tennessee is the better football team. They have a hell of an offense. Hyatt is been an incredible addition to this football team this year. It's not addition, but a guy that's really stepped up. Brew McCoy played tremendous. The receiver that made the diving catch has been great. And let's not forget, they were missing one of the best receivers in the country in Cedric Tillman. Imagine if he was out there today. So Tennessee's better. Just plain and simple, Tennessee is the better football team. Tennessee's the second best team in the East. They were at home. 102,000 crazy fans screaming and yelling. They should have won that damn game, and they did. So Florida knew it. Napier knew it, and he was going to pull out every damn stop to make sure that his team had the best opportunity to keep that thing close and maybe at the end of the day squeak out a win, maybe not. So I give them credit, and I will say one thing more about this game with Florida sense. A lot of people were getting on me about Anthony Richardson, and I don't blame him. He looked great versus Utah, and he did not look great the next couple games. Turnover machine, was trying to do too much in the past game. They weren't really running him as much. I thought tonight they did a better job of just saying, hey, you're a big dude. We're going to run you, and we're going to add that to our game plan, and it worked out tremendously. 62 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns for Anthony Richardson. But I think he proved to the nation tonight that he's still a very good quarterback. The throws that he was making, the movement in the pocket, his ability to run. This is only his, 6th start as a collegiate quarterback? And people want to throw him out already saying you're not good after 6 starts? He's raw. He's talented. He's big, can throw the ball a country mile, athletic, moves inside the pocket extremely well. Like, he is going to be fine. I think tonight was a big message to the country that, man, I gained some confidence. They need to continue to run them. But I think Florida with Anthony Richardson at the helm is going to be just fine the rest of the year. Lins 11 says LSU going to sack Hooker 5 times in 2 weeks. So who do they got? They got a little bye. Tennessee has a bye. Who does LSU have next week?
LSU has Auburn at Auburn.
Auburn.
Talk about that's an interesting game.
God, that's a dumpster fire. Yeah, listen, I mean, LSU looks good, man. You got B.J. Ojolari coming off the outside, Ali Gay. I love the pressure looks. Obviously you saw what they did at home versus Mississippi State. I had Mississippi State today, and I was talking, with their coordinators and Mike Leach during the week, and just how tough it was with the crowd noise and BJ being able to get such a great start on their tackle. So yeah, I mean, there's going to be an opportunity for LSU to get after Tennessee, but I think Tennessee's offensive line is significantly better than Mississippi State's offensive line. Like, Mississippi State's tackles are not very good. That is the weakness of Mississippi State's football team. That's going to really hinder them from being ultra competitive and winning games that maybe you think they should win, is because they just can't protect Will Rogers as well on the edges. When you look at Tennessee, I like Tennessee's O-line. And Tennessee commits to the run a little bit more. And then you also have to add in the fact that Hendon is a tremendous runner. So if you want to have all those guys rushing upfield, trying to get to the quarterback at that 10-yard mark in his drop, Hendon is going to continue to step up, make plays with his legs like he did tonight. So, I kind of disagree with that. I do think, they will get pressure on him. It's going to be a tough game. It's always a tough game anytime anyone goes down there to the Bayou. But Tennessee right now is just playing with a lot of confidence. And once again, they're going to have a bye week to get that game plan set for LSU. So I do worry about LSU at home in a couple weeks, but we shall see. Plus, LSU also has to think, you got, that game. Just pull up their schedule again. They got Auburn, Tennessee, Florida, Ole Miss, Alabama, Arkansas. Like, they are about to go through a gauntlet after Auburn. So they better strap up and get ready for the meat of their season. Speaking of Auburn, what an ugly football game versus Missouri. Good Lord, that game was absolutely horrendous.
Do you think they would have fired Bryan Harsin if the guy doesn't drop the ball as he's going into the end zone and they lose?
I think I don't. Once again, I don't agree with it. I don't agree with them firing Harsin. I think it's stupid. I think it sets a bad precedent going forward for Auburn. But I get it. Like, if you would tell me right now that Auburn,
but do you think they would have? Of course, you don't agree, but do you think they would have?
No, I don't think they would have. I don't think they would have. I don't know who else on like once I think the issue is when you look at Harsin's staff, like if it was last year's staff, let's remember this. So last year's staff had Bobo, it had uh Derek Mason on staff. So like if you get rid of him, at least you have two coaches that have head coaching experience that can step in there and do their thing. If you fire Harsin right now, who the hell's going to be the head coach? Everyone that's on his staff, he's essentially brought over with him from Boise State. He got rid of Bobo. He got rid of Derek Mason, or Derek left, but who knows exactly what happened. Who the hell would be the head coach? I think that's what's on his favor right now. Like, who is going to be the guy? Because there is no one in that building that has experience. So, no, they're not going to get rid of him for that fact alone. They'll have to wait till after the season, bite the bullet the rest of the year, get rid of him afterwards, and then obviously have a new AD. That AD's his first task is going to be go find us a championship coach as his first line of duty. So it would have sucked. It would have kind of, in my mind, cemented the fact that he's going to get fired at the end of the year. But I don't think we'd have seen like a Herm Edwards, some handshake at the end zone, like, hey, man, sucks to suck. We'll see you later. Bye. Go pack up your crap. Like that. I don't think that would have happened. No. Yep. Harsin's on his way out, though. But no, back to the game versus Missouri. Oh, there he is.
Here. Look at this sad motherfucker right here. He's all upset because his Bulldogs didn't cover against the Flashes.
I miss you tonight, buddy. It's good to have you in.
Yeah. The harsh glare of the Flash done exposed the pale skin of the UGA Bulldogs. I'm sure that's all anybody's talking about tonight. What's going on, Aaron Murray? What's up, dude?
I'm glad you feel great about that win versus New Mexico, T-Bob. And everyone in the chat.
Aaron, have you checked the box score there, bud? Because guess what? We outgained him 600 to 80. 80 total yards, you son of a bitch. LSU kicked New Mexico's ass tonight. You know what else we did? We covered. Which I can't talk shit, Aaron, because your bets are fire. Your bets are on fire now. My bets are complete shit. Fucking Oregon broke my heart tonight. What's up, dude? How you doing, man?
Yeah, what about USC? I think just gave up a touchdown to Oregon State. So
God damn it, dude. It never fucking fails, dude. You got to fade the No. I'm not losing faith here on Snaps. You do not have to fade the public. We are the public, okay? Do not worry. Talent will win out in the end, okay? USC is going to cover. How much time is left, Aaron?
They're not going to cover. They better hope they freaking win at this point.
How much time is left?
There's 4 minutes to go. I'm going to pull up your sketchy ass link you sent me, which is going to spam the crap out of my computer.
That sounds
First
like
off,
we may not cover. My link I sent you is sketchy. And yes, it feels like Kazaa or any of these other awful things that you used to LimeWire, any of these other awful things we used to download. That is completely fair, but it's kind of on the Pac-12 network. It's a little hard to find.
Oregon State's defense tonight has just bundled up Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams, 11 of 28 for 123 right now. But listen, like USC's defense is doing their thing. They got 3 interceptions. It's not the defense's fault. We were worried about the defense for Oregon State. Caleb Williams has just been
greatest of all.
For those who are watching the game, has been off this entire game. Balls behind, balls late. Just does not look like his kind of night. So I think they could win it, but they ain't covering T-Bob, unfortunately. So not good for us. Not good for us.
It's not good for us, Aaron. But I will say this. You never know what fate may hold for you tonight, right? Perfect example. It looked like Oregon was completely lost earlier. They get a pick 6 with a minute left. It looks like they're completely won. Guess what? 50-yard touchdown later, they lost, okay? We may have a little luck left in our future. By the way, Aaron, I watched Andor, and spoiler-free review, it's awesome. I love it. It has the potential to be some of the best Star Wars. It's a little slow, but if you're like me every fucking minute I was locked in. It's like noir. It's like Star Wars noir, and I think it's incredible. Okay, so what have we talked about? Brum, where do we want to start here? What do we talk about? I'm coming to this thing hot, boys, in case you can't tell. It's very much Snaps After Dark. I literally just left an LSU postgame show where we celebrated those putrid opponents known as the Lobos. Unlike UGA, we got to dance on the graves of our enemies tonight. What's going on? Where are we starting here?
Where are we at? Where are we at right now, Brom?
Let's do
Aggies.
I think we do Tennessee, Florida. Let's do full Tennessee, Florida right now.
All right.
Let's go full Tennessee, Florida.
Let's dive in then, dude. Let's dive in. So, I had an interesting experience earlier with Tennessee, Florida, where, as we said the other day, right? If not now, win for Tennessee. Like, hey, win the game, Tennessee. You're double-digit favorites. You're at home. Everybody loves you. You have the better offense. Anthony Richardson can't pass for shit. And so, all of a sudden, Tennessee goes up by 17. I'm like, oh, I'm good. The LSU game's about to start. My wife's calling me kid sick. I'm like, all right, I'll go grab some Pedialyte, whatever. I'll be back in the store. We'll go watch LSU game. I got to do work. We'll be fine, whatever. And then I get to the bar, and Aaron, what the hell? Florida's catching an onside kick. They're running back to the 30. They almost score. What went wrong with Tennessee at the end here, and is it a red flag going forward?
No, I think Tennessee's fine. I think they kind of let off the brake a little bit, start getting a little conservative towards the end there. They look good tonight. I tell you what, like,
look good.
One, Anthony Richardson looked good. I think I hit on that with some of the folks earlier today. Like, he's still that dude, man. He can still sling it with the best of them. And for Tennessee to win that game without, I would say, probably their best player, second best player. I think Hendon's their best player.
Yep.
Whether it's second best player in Cedric Tillman, that's a big statement win, man, for being dominated in this series for as long as they have. I think right now they beat Pitt, which was a great win a couple weeks ago, and then you beat Florida at home, and now you get a little bit of a break before you obviously have to go on the road versus LSU and then play Alabama afterwards. Like, those are two big games. I'm very impressed with your Tigers. I will applaud you. That's a hell of a win tonight, and you guys have seemed to have turned the tide since, I'm not trying to say tide you've turned it around since that loss to Florida State, who ends up being a good team too, so that loss isn't that bad. But I think if they can split those two games, I feel really good about Tennessee going forward being a 10-win team. Because you look at the rest of their schedule, UT Martin win. They're better than Kentucky. They'll lose to Georgia, hopefully. They'll beat Missouri. They'll beat South Carolina. They'll beat Vandy. So, all of a sudden, you're talking about I think like the worst Tennessee's going to be this year is 9-3. And I think they could be 10-2.
Yes, it does. It checks out now. Well, and honestly, man, they should be. Hendon Hooker looks like okay, Aaron, you rank quarterbacks every week. If you were to rank the SEC quarterbacks right now, where would you put Hendon Hooker?
Oh man, I'd put Hendon at 1. I think we talk about Heisman's. I know it's so early to talk about Heisman's. Oh, does he get it? Oh, he got it. Sorry, I'm watching the USC game right now too.
You're watching men's streams, dude? I can't play it because I tried to play it, and because it's like an illegal stream site, I couldn't figure out how to mute the volume.
Waiting for the cops to
so I couldn't keep it going.
I'm still waiting.
No, we're good, dude.
Caleb extended the drive. He got stopped 1 yard short of 4th and 6. Then one of his big, fat, ugly guys on offense pushed him forward for the first down. So we'll see, man. Still hope alive to cover the 5.5 for USC. But no, how I would rank the SEC quarterbacks right now, I go Hendon 1. I think Hendon's special. I think Hendon is going to continue to work his way into the Heisman conversation because he's going to put up stupid stats. He runs the ball effectively. He's going to get some rushing touchdowns throughout the season. He's won Bryce 2, KJ 3, Stetson's 4.
Max?
He's off like the top of my head right now.
Max?
Yeah.
He's not going to be in top 5, but we'll talk about Max.
Will Rogers, maybe Will Rogers 5, I would say.
Yeah, Mississippi State look good. Okay, here's what I would say is that I think that Tennessee is right now with Kentucky the lead dog for third best team in the SEC. I think that you better be able to keep up with Tennessee or you're going to be in trouble, right? Like if you start kicking field goals, Tennessee is going to punish you. Now, the fact that Anthony Richardson, a quarterback that has not thrown the ball for shit, threw for 450 tonight, that's a problem, okay?
Yeah.
And by the way, I love Florida. I ain't worried about Florida, not long term. Like, I mean, whatever. If you had expectations for Florida this year, I don't know what to tell you. That's on you, okay? But when I see Billy Napier's kind of balls to the wall attitude, and I think about AR for a couple more years, like I think Florida's going to be just fine, right? Yeah. So Florida's going to be fine. But Tennessee this year, they're pretty sexy. And all I know, and as far as Florida goes, just too many mistakes, right? I'm shocked. I mean, I had this all, like my thoughts on Florida were already written before they had that incredible kind of final push, right? So I feel even more strong about them now. But as far as Tennessee goes, this is your year, man. You've been waiting for this for a decade and a half. You have slumbered. And now, like the meme of the guy in the orange suit that pops out of the coffin on the flatbed, like, yeah, like Tennessee is back alive, dude. So let's see what you do with it. Okay, let's see what you do with it because you've been given a little bit of hope in all of that darkness that you've had to walk around in for the past 15 years, where Florida shit on you for 15 years in a row, and Georgia did, and Alabama still has. What are you going to do with it, Tennessee? Let's see what you're made of, okay? Because your boys on the diamond, the baseball diamond, they're pretty fucking good. But they kind of disappointed you in the end. Maybe Hooker and Heupel can come through for you. I'm not so sure.
Hey.
We're going to find out, though. Death Valley in 2 weeks.
Thoughts here.
It's going to be tight. Yep, sorry, go ahead.
Is Tennessee good enough to make it competitive in Athens?
So I feel like the reactionary thing would be like, I mean, yeah, did you see Kent State today? But I know Georgia didn't give a damn about Kent State. And when I look at Tennessee, I see nothing on that defense that is going to be able to stop our number one boys, DeQuavius, okay? So, no, I don't think so. I think that Hendon Hooker will make it, well, and, you know, Hooker and by extension the rest of the offense will make it exciting for a time, but no. In the end, Georgia will pull away in that game. Yeah, but that's fine. That's really not what Tennessee needs to be judging themselves by. They need to go beat LSU in Death Valley. They need to go, like you said, win 10 games. Tennessee is taking steps right now. And the next step is not to beat DeQuavius in Georgia. The next step is to be, no. We are the third best team in the SEC. We're going to the Capital One Bowl. Or nowadays, it's, you know, probably the Sugar Bowl. But, you know, hey, you don't get to go to theme parks if you go to the Sugar Bowl. It's just the truth. You go to Rick's Cabaret, but not Universal, okay? I mean, that's up to you to decide which you would rather go to. So, no, I mean, look, I feel good. I feel good about Tennessee after today. They did it. They pleased the home crowd. I actually still feel good about Florida long term. Maybe not as much this year.
No, USC.
How much time's left, dude? Tell me we got a chance. We need like a pick six.
We need a pick six. We need a pick six. So USC is about to go up 17-14. They already have 3 picks today.
This is going to make an amazing podcast, by the way.
If there is a
I know. What are you gonna do, bro? I know.
I'm just messing with you guys.
We got everything riding on the USC.
Dude, I got a great T-Bob's my bookie. I got a great 3-team parlay right now. I got two down, 1 to go. But
Aaron's been on fire.
My under for the Auburn Missouri game, which I bet my mortgage on, hit big time. So I'm very happy about that.
You made the whole team money. Aaron, let's be clear. Aaron made the whole Snaps team money with the Auburn.
I should have made everyone listening to Snaps money on that one. That was the easiest money you could have asked for.
That's what I'm saying. You told everyone, and we all rode with you, and we all won. I'm having like a 500 day, but I'm having an 0-2 best bet state today. Horrible beat in the Oregon game. I fucking need SC to somehow manage to pull this out. Please, for the love of God, Trojans, let's get a pick six or something going on here.
Dude, I'm with you too. I would love a nice pick six. I'll go buy a new damn iPhone.
Yeah, well, and
I'm
Aaron does
too.
have a nice little parlay playoff if you parlay
I
payoff if USC will hit this.
yeah. I'm 2-1 again though this week. I'm just like the
Yeah, bro.
2-1
No,
king.
Aaron, your bets are on fire. That's what I want to be clear about. That's another reason why I don't want to go 0-3 this week, is because you've been uber consistent. I mean, this will
It's all about
push
the
you to
consistency.
8-5. I mean, it's beautiful every
No,
single
eight,
week, dude.
8-4, 8-4, 8-4,
Oh, my bad. Excuse me. You're right.
8-4,
8-4. Exactly. 2-1 every week. Yeah.
Yep.
Math check it. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right. Okay. So let's talk then
Well,
about.
wait, come on. I want to
Arkansas.
get your thought, T-Bow. I want to get your thoughts on
Yeah.
this. Brum asked me this earlier. Sticking on the Auburn theme for a quick second. What were your? Do you think Harsin would have been fired if they lost that football game? Would we have
Yes.
seen a reenactment of what happened at Arizona State?
No, you would not have seen an walk off the field hiring, but either internally, it would have leaked. But yes, they would have fired him behind the scenes, and we would have heard they were going through a coaching search. I cannot say like maybe Harsin would do a finish out the season thing, maybe he would not. But yeah, if you had lost to Missouri at home today, I feel very comfortable in saying that Bryan Harsin would have been fired.
See, I think it would have. I think it would have cemented. It would have cemented him being fired at the end of the year.
See, I think it's already cemented, though. I think this.
No, I do too. I think it's done. But I think the issue is right now, like, who's going to take over? Like, there's no one on that staff that can take over and be a head coach for the remainder of the season. That's the problem.
Kevin Steele's not there anymore. Where's Kevin Steele now?
Kevin Steele not there. Bobo's not there. Derek May, like, they're all a bunch of assistants that came with him from Boise State. So that's the only thing that's keeping him alive from being a head coach the rest of the year is the fact that who the hell is going to take over? But no, there's no doubt in my mind right now when you look at this football team, and they know it. They know their head coach is going to get fired. They know the season's about to get really, really ugly. And they're just not good, man. They're just not
it's a bad feeling.
A good football team. So, I mean, they got LSU next, Georgia, Ole Miss, Arkansas, Mississippi State, Texas A&M, Western Kentucky, and then at Alabama. So that 3-1 record for Auburn right now is going to be, about 5-7 by the end of the year. If they look the way they've looked the year.
Talk about Bryan surviving.
Oh, we almost had a pick six.
No, fuck you, Aaron. Don't tell me. I can't keep meth streams on this chat right now because I can't keep the sound off it. No. I was on a. I can't.
If the DN didn't tip it, the dude would have picked it off and taken it back for a pick six. Come on.
All right, it's all good.
Come on, USC.
USC cover still in play somehow. It's going to happen, dude. Look, the bottom line is that Bryan survived by what, Aaron? He survived by the hair on his Harsini sin, okay? But guess what? I'm a believer, okay? Sin gets defeated by Jesus. Next week, Jesus comes to town in the form of Brian Kelly. And Bryan Harsin is done. Done. Get him out of here, dude. He should have been done this week. Mizzou's really portly kicker, which I appreciate. I'm not body shaming here. It did look like his leg kind of struggled on the follow through. But Mizzou's portly kicker missed a game-winning extra point. It's not extra point, but you get it, right? Super easy field goal. And then I've never seen anything like Mizzou reaching into the end zone and fumbling out of the back. It is the epitome of Auburn chaos.
No!
Auburn is a chaos agent. No, God. What happened? Auburn is a chaos agent that always have been. And the point is that Bryan Harsin got lucky. He barely survived. And next week, the same way in which Gus Malzahn once landed a fatal blow against Les Miles in the SEC Thunderdome, a game featuring Danny Etling and others, LSU will return the favor and kill the former Boise State head man. What happened to him?
They picked it off, but he fell down when he caught it. Game over. Oh, man.
Vegas, dude. I mean, fuck.
All right, but I will say this: there was a game in which that happened. It was actually I was a part of the game, 2013, overtime. Tennessee running back goes to reach the ball over the line, fumbles it out of the end zone. We win the game versus Tennessee. So I have
It's a good
seen
feeling.
it before.
It's a good feeling. It's a good feeling,
especially in Neyland.
Oh, okay.
USC
it is what it is,
won.
dude.
USC survived,
but they didn't come.
So our Trojan boys are still alive. So that's a good news.
I mean, it's kind of good news, Aaron, but honestly, it's not good news. Okay, let's be honest here, dude. We knew what needed to happen.
Where'd you go?
We all. I mean, look, dude. We were the public. We represented the public. We went to battle with the establishment, right? For the small man, the sharps were all betting USC. We told you all week the sharps were all over USC, and we represented the people, the fine people here listening to snaps, and it didn't work out. And whatever, I guess you're right. Like at the end of the day, USC won. They're still relevant. That's brutal. All right, let's get to Texas A&M. Texas A&M wins 23-21 over Arkansas in Arlington, and an insane game, Aaron, in that at first it looked like Arkansas was going to absolutely roll. And then KJ Jefferson decides to leap from the 4, fumble, lateral, touchdown A&M, and then Arkansas forgets how to score. They finally get it back at the end. Arkansas' kicker misses a game-winning kick. Aaron, when you leave this game, where's your head at with the Texas A&M Aggies?
That's a hell of a win. That is a hell of a win because Arkansas is a really good football team. So I think I am a lot more obviously bullish about A&M going forward than I was, and a big reason is, they have a quarterback, and it's not like Max threw in this incredible game, but he was efficient. He opened up the passing game for them. He allowed A-Chain to go off and run. I mean, when you go against A&M and Haynes King's the quarterback, you load the box. You say, okay, we dare you to throw the ball. And now all of a sudden Max is in there. You have to respect the passing game a little more. And shoot, Max can run too, man. He's been killing it running these past few weeks or past 2 weeks. So I think this offense, why it's still somewhat in the Stone Age with how Jimbo's calling it, is going to be more efficient with Max at the helm. You saw that tonight. The defense is damn good. And that's a huge victory for them, man, because once again, Arkansas has one weakness. It's their DBs. That's it. Other than that, I still think Arkansas is a very good football team in this league. They will lose more games down the stretch because they got to face teams that have good passing attacks. So that worries me a little bit. But for A&M to kind of, beat Miami, which obviously looks like not a very good win after today's loss to God,
Middle Tennessee.
Middle Tennessee.
Hey, that 9-yard touchdown was tight though with Middle Tennessee. With the guy hit like that sprinter's dive as he crossed the fucking goal line. I love that.
Oh man. It was a great win. It was a great win. A&M they're back. The excitement's back. The juice is back. Jimbo's feeling good. Did you see the picture of his son after the game though with him? Jimbo's son?
I did not. But if Jimbo's son is who I'm thinking of, it's someone who I have maybe judged in the past from just seeing pictures, and I recognize that is wrong and that is mean, and so I'm not going to go too hard on this because I don't know exactly what you're referencing. But I'm guessing it's a picture.
It'd be something you would judge.
Yes, I bet you it's a picture where his son maybe looks like someone who grew up the son of a multimillionaire and is maybe looking not as blue collar as you would maybe want out of your football coach. Is this all accurate?
Where is this picture? I forgot who posted it.
The point
He's wearing like a big chain, of course.
Yeah.
Pretty bad.
Such is life now. Here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say on AM is that it's what I've been saying all year. Max makes them demonstrably better. The offense is still inherently flawed. Like eventually this offseason, Jimbo's going to have a real come to Jesus talk with himself. Where A&M continues to make up for it is the exact thing that everybody said before the season. They just have talent. And by talent, I mean athletes. Like they just have guys that are big as fuck, strong as fuck, and fast as fuck. And you saw that with A-Chain. When A-Chain would touch the ball tonight, he looked like he had a different gear a lot of times than the rest of the guys on that field. And although A&M is not good, they are able to find these crazy breakthrough moments, as evidenced by KJ trying to jump over the top from the 4-yard line, fumble, but then the handoff on the fumble. That's a wild card move. That's an ill-advised move, but that's also a very natural, instinctive, and athletic move. And it leads to a 95-yard scoop and score, which ends up being the difference of the game. So what A&M is this year is nothing great, but it is something dangerous. Yes. Like they're not going to threaten the best teams, but they are a hard out. And certainly that is very disappointing.
Where would you put them right now? Where would you put them in the West right now? Who is the second best team in the SEC West?
It's feeling like now I didn't see much of the Ole Miss game today, but a lot of the analytics and everything are pointing towards Ole Miss. I find that hard to believe, so I would approach that with a degree of skepticism. After that,
I mean, it's
a fair point. Let's see what you're saying now. Now that I'm trying to think this out, I see what you're saying.
Let's eliminate some right now. So, Auburn, no. Yeah, LSU, no.
Yep. I would say Mississippi
they beat
State
Arkansas. No. So it's either. So the question is A&M better right now than Ole Miss and Mississippi State?
I think Ole Miss is better than Mississippi State. From what we've seen, yeah. So are we saying it's between Ole Miss then and Texas A&M?
Yeah.
We'll see.
I don't know. I still like Mississippi
LSU
State.
LSU has a little bit to say in this.
I'm still a believer in Mississippi State.
That's a bit ironic, right? Because if LSU is an automatic out, they kind of handled State. But then we get into the law of transitive sports properties and how much does that actually matter? It's very slippery. So it's a fair point. And the West remains like just a week to week volatile mix, right? Like we thought last week A&M was going 6-6, second to last in the West, and now in this 5 minutes conversation, we've just landed on A&M being the second best team in the West. Sort of like,
no,
so,
I'm not giving it. If you're saying that, I'm not saying that.
I know that's what you just said. What are you saying then? So who's second best in the West?
No one said that.
So who's second best in the West?
I said I just clearly said I think Mississippi State's better than them.
So you think Mississippi State's second best in the West? But then what about LSU?
I think Mississippi State's the second best team in the West still. I do. I know they lost LSU. I get it. But I think at the end of the day, they have more than everyone. They have less weaknesses than everyone else.
Wow. It's a bold claim. If I was going to go with my second best team in the West,
I can't judge Ole Miss yet. I can't. They played Troy, Central Arkansas, Georgia Tech, and they played a really close game against Tulsa today. Like who have they played? So they play Kentucky next week. They get them at home. I think after that we can start assessing. Okay, where is Ole Miss? How good is Ole Miss? I think Ole Miss is the big wild card because I think they got talent. I love their I love their offense. I like their quarterback. I like their receivers. I like their line. I think they have the potential to be very good on defense. But we just have no clue until they start playing legitimate competition. So I think after next week, once again, the flexibility of the West is going to be even more flexible after we kind of assess what Ole Miss looks like.
I agree. There is still massive movement potential. And to any calls now in terms of ranking, it's an interesting conversation. But honestly, everything will blow up. How quickly
anyone can be anyone in the West.
Yes, exactly.
Besides Auburn.
Right now, there's Auburn's garbage, dude. LSU's going to spank Auburn and Jordan Hare next week. T-Beaver, how quickly we all forget about App State. But that's the point, though, right? Haynes King was the quarterback in App State. Max Johnson, the main point of all of this is that Max Johnson's added a bit of a unknown boost to A&M, or a boost, but we just don't know how high it goes. Oklahoma losers to Kansas State, who again to the law of transitive sports properties, lost to Tulane last week. Who did Tulane end up losing to Southern Miss today? They did. Tulane lost 27-24 to Southern Miss. Beat Kansas State 17-10 last week. Kansas State now turns around and beats Oklahoma. What was his final score? 31-24. It's unreal, dude. College football is just an absolute wild game week to week. What did you think about Dylan Gabriel, Venables, and OU falling here to the Wildcats?
Well, make sure those who are tuning in now go watch the beginning of the show. We had former All-American safety Roy Williams on with us breaking down the game.
Oh,
He had
nice.
some tremendous insight. Yeah, T-Bob. So make sure you go watch it tomorrow morning. He was great. Jumped on with us for a while, broke it down. I thought Dylan played okay. He missed a bunch of opportunities. If you just, if you're someone that just woke up and looked at the stat line, you're like, oh, he was 26 of 39, 330, 4 touchdowns, 61 yards rushing. Like, that's a hell of a day. He missed a lot, though. He missed some opportunities, and you're not going to hit everything. So I will say that, like, you're going to miss shots. You're going to miss wide open receivers. It's the nature of the game. No one's perfect. But he was a little bit off at times today. I would say the bigger issue is more the defense. The defense, we thought with Venables was going to be terrific because we believe they have talent on that side, and it didn't show up today. And we have to remind ourselves it's only the fourth game. They're still learning the system, this, that, and the other. And once again, go listen to Roy Williams from earlier if you're now just tuning in, and you'll kind of get his thoughts on that whole process. But I thought Adrian Martinez really took into what he's learned for the past 10 years of playing college football, and he put it into tonight's game. He looked really good, man. And that little Deuce Vaughn at freaking 5'5" was just
Deuce is a beast.
An absolute terror too. So
but that's where it's weird though, dude. Tulane holds Deuce Vaughn to 80 yards last week, and they win 17-10 in Little Manhattan. And then what? And then Kansas State's gonna go into Oklahoma and win 41-34. It's just it's fascinating. It's honestly why I love college football so much, and it's because like we could sit here and talk about how SC is a guarantee, SC cover. Of course they are, right? Oregon State, all the, and then of course Vegas has it right, and they end up losing. And the thing on Oklahoma is, it's not to say that Venables or Oklahoma isn't good, but the question on Oklahoma was, are they contenders, right? Like, are they how we have thought of Oklahoma recently, which is a consistent every single year playoff team? And this game would point towards then no, maybe there is a little bit of a rebuild that needs to take place. And I think if you're an Oklahoma fan, now I don't want to offend anybody in Norman, okay? I'm from Baton Rouge. I don't think Baton Rouge is that tight, like from like a city sort of standpoint, right? I'm not going to tell you it's like a ton to do around here. But if I was in Norman, Oklahoma, I would be worried about maybe going the route of a Lincoln, Nebraska, potentially, if the winning and, the extreme winning, the top 5 every year, if that didn't keep pace, like there's just an idea out there that how attractive a place it. We'll see. I don't overspeak, but the point is, this feels like a big hit to an Oklahoma team that was desperate to prove that even though we switched coaches, and even though Lincoln Riley went out west and he's having all this success, that it wasn't about him, it was about us and the power's in the soil. Well, if the power's not in the soil, then you may be in a little bit of trouble. We'll see. Fight on to everybody in chat, putting that in there.
Trojan boys still alive. The Trojan boys are still alive.
We still are. I'm not going to lie. This one hurts. I feel like a sucker. I felt like a sucker the entire time doing the pick. And, hey, sometimes you are what you
It's just
think
money,
you are.
T-Bob. It's just money. It's okay.
I'm not. No. That's the thing. I'm not upset about the money. I'm upset about the pride. I'm upset about the pride, right? Because I want our best bets to be good, and your best bets have been good. So I'm speaking for myself. I knew I didn't like this board, and I went with my heart in a lot of this, and it ended up it didn't end up paying any dividends. It ended up losing dividends. So it's all good. We're going to bounce back. We're going to get in the lab. It's a one snap and clear business, right? It's a football golden rule. I don't care what you did last play. I don't care if you did some good or bad. Okay, one snap and clear. What are you going to do the next play? And so in the same way, we're going to lock back in. We're going to get ready for a little Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday snaps 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central. We're going to give you our best bets on Friday, okay? We're going to have a lot of fun along the way, folks, okay? And we want you to subscribe to the pod. We want you to sign up for the FanDuel Sportsbook and use the promo code SNAPS. We want you to subscribe to the Volume Sports YouTube channel and like it. And we want you to tell all of your friends about the show because we're going to be here, okay? We're not going to be defeated by one poor week. Again, I'm talking about myself. And we will see you on Monday. Aaron Murray, you have a great night, my friend.
See you, brother. See y'all.
Brum, you have a great night as well. Our excellent producer, Ryan Brumley. And to all of our wonderful listeners, we love y'all. And we will see you Monday afternoon on a brand new edition of Snaps.